Well, I was sent the script written by Peter Flannery. I loved the subject, which was a sort of sexy way of treating a period of history that you don't often see on the television, which is the English Civil War. I loved the way that it was essentially a piece of fiction which gave you an insight into the politics of the time. And I loved the politics of it, which was it was a journey through the radical sects that were around at that time, through this woman who is treated as a whore and a villain.
I've heard the Queen say Angelica was wild as a colt when first she came to court.
Yeah, it's an adventure story. I mean, it's got lots of guns in, actually, and there's lots of blood in it. You know, that's the other thing about it. I mean, when we were discussing colour schemes and things, I had this idea that it should all be quite dark, but with sort of vivid red in it. And of course, the red comes from the blood. You know, you have a character who's born in blood and dies in blood. The central character, Angelica Fanshawe, you know, it's very much about her as a woman, her journey as a woman. I mean, you know, when she starts off in the piece, she's someone who's a young girl in King Charles I's court who marries her cousin in this time of great political turmoil at the end of King Charles I's reign, where Parliament are wanting more independence, and she is not allowed to speak out, she's not allowed to express any political view, and the consequences of that, you know, we see the consequences of that. And it's a time when, for instance, our character, Thomas Rainsborough, who's a leveller leader, embraces the notion of women speaking out, even though Parliament doesn't embrace that. Parliament is still full of men, and men of property, men of fixed interest, men who have an interest in the nation in a very material way.
I'll have a free spirit, man.
Well, they sound beautiful too.
It's about her growth as a woman, really. She's a sort of proto-feminist in that respect. I think it's contemporary in the sense that it describes in quite a detailed way what it takes to hold on to power through the character of Cromwell, and the way that he becomes more and more lonely as his life goes on, lonely in his power, becomes less democratic while still believing that what he's doing is for the nation's good. And he's a great sort of charmer, he's a great politician in many ways, but he's someone that comes from a Republican background, but he's someone that has to betray those original views in order to do what he thinks is right.
I, Oliver Cromwell, petition this House.
When Cromwell made his first speech in the House of Commons, people noted how rough he was. You know, he had blood on his shirt, he didn't have a hat band, he had this country burr, and this is not the sort of man that the House of Commons was used to.
It orders the immediate release of honest John Milton.
Dominic West has portrayed this rough country manner, but he has a pretty sophisticated political approach that goes along with that rough country manner, which I think is brilliant, actually. One of the scenes that we did on the very first day was a surrender outside Fanshawe House, which involved about 6 horses with people on horses, and I just thought, oh, this is a cinch. They're just talking to each other, these people, you know. But to try and get 6 horses lined up with actors that can't ride horses, you know, just took all afternoon.
The whore is a man again.
She's hounded as someone who because she's a woman, because she's independent, because she won't be enthralled to a man, is branded as a whore, and she also kills a man who tries to rape her, and therefore is branded as the devil's whore, because she's seen in the woods with Sexby, who's deemed to be the devil by this urchins. So she gets this this moniker, the Devil's Whore. It's a good title though, isn't it?